Alright, chat, we've got all 14 strongest shadows of Sun Jinwoo 10 million army
Shadows are
explained.
so overpowered.
Okay,
They
let's check
could
it out.
wipe out any country in the world.
I actually was kind of
But
interested about this,
among these 10
because obviously season 2
million
is freaking
shadows,
popping off.
which ones stand out as the absolute
I love to watch these like
strongest?
explaining videos,
So,
because
here are
obviously
the
it's like
14
super in-depth.
deadliest and most overpowered shadows in solo leveling. Before we
Okay.
start cooking, let me break down the shadow ranks real quick for you, because that's going to help you understand just how badass they really are. Starting with the lowest rank, the normal grade. These
Right.
shadows are, let's say, the noobs.
They
the
use a
foot
ton of
soldiers,
freaking
the
mana though,
basic
don't
troops
they?
in the shadow army. They might be the lowest, but they're mostly as strong as C rank hunters, or even lower.
That's still
but
pretty
still,
decent,
they could kill
though.
a few monsters or even hunters. Then there is the elite grade. You'll see a lot of these guys in the shadow army, and they're on par with the B rank hunters in terms of strength. Next, knight grade. They're on the same level as A rank hunters, and once they hit this grade or above, Jinwoo can start giving them names. Once shadows level up to elite knight grade,
So that's
they'll
why
be
he
as
names
strong
them
as
at
S-rank
A.
hunters. Now, just a heads up on the next two ranks, it might get a bit confusing because in the light novel they're known as commanders, but in the webtoon they go by general grade. So in this video, let's stick to calling them general grades. These shadows are so strong, they can easily overpower even the strongest S-rank hunters, like Goto Ryuji, who is the strongest hunter in Japan. The next rank in the manhwa are called commanders, but according to the light novel, they're called marshal. However, in this video, let's just call them marshals because, let's face it, that just sounds way cooler. So, martial grade shadows, they're insanely strong, capable of going toe-to-toe with a national level hunter, and even a monarch. Yes, a monarch like Tarnak or the Frost Monarch. And finally, the top tier grade, the Grand Marshal. These shadows are so powerful, they can easily kill a monarch. They also serve as leaders of the entire shadow army, second only to Jinwoo, the shadow monarch himself. Now, let's start with the Ant Queen. After Jinwoo defeated the Ant King and named him Beru, he extracted the shadow of the Ant Queen. Right off the bat, this girl was at a general rank as a shadow, but compared to the other shadows, she was actually useless. Reminds me of Sakura. I know that she was pretty tough back when she was alive. Like, she could go head to head with multiple S-rank hunters, especially because of her ability to shoot out a massive amount of purple poison. This poison was so deadly, it seriously injured two powerful, well-geared S-rank hunters. Yet, according to Beru, her true power wasn't about her strength. It was how she could give birth to thousands of baby ants for like 4 years. Damn, that's a lot of babies. I mean, it's a superpower, alright. Like, I think one baby is a lot, you know? How many babies can you handle as a parent? And each new batch of ants was even stronger and smarter than the ones before. Plus, she could genetically breed them. For example, the Ant King. This means her real strength is creating an army all by herself, making them terrifying, since multiple S-rank hunters struggled against them. But despite being at a general grade, after Beru mentioned that the Ant Queen's main thing was having babies, and since she couldn't do that anymore without a real body, she was really not cut out for battle. On top of that, Jinwoo realized she actually started to control the shadow ants, overpowering his own authority over them. Wait, someone else controlling shadows other than Jinwoo? That's why Jinwoo cancelled the extraction. Instead of Arise, he said
Yeah, if we get to this in
and even if Jinwoo had kept this shadow, she'd still be kinda useless
in the anime, I would be
unless
crazy.
she could just, spam poison everybody. When Jinwoo finally kicked Baran's ass, he turned the Wyvern, Kaiselen, into a shadow. And since he forgot Wyvern's original name, he just named it Kaizel. Sung Drip Woo basically stole the Demon King's ride. The bad news is, throughout the entire story, Kaizel's mainly just flying around. Seriously, like about 80% of the time, the Shadow's job is to be Jinwoo's trusty Hot Wheels. Especially when he can't use Shadow Exchange because it's on cooldown. We never actually see Kaizel fight. I mean, which is kind of a waste because he's basically night grade. But his ability to fly is a huge advantage.
So freaking
if Kaizel
cool,
fought shadows like the Ant Queen, he could simply pick her up and drop her from midair and game over. However, that's only if the target is alive, with flesh and blood. Since they're shadows, they might not die easily from a fall. Regardless, the feeling is terrifying. Kaizel would be even deadlier if he could breathe fire. Wait, what if he does breathe fire? I don't know if he does, but imagine if he could. Plus, with his ability to fly, this wyvern could be a killing machine. Also, just so we're clear, wyverns and dragons, not the same thing. Wyverns walk on 2 legs. Dragons have 4. Next up, Tank. This big guy came from an ice bear that Jinwoo encountered during the Red Gate incident. Thanks to being, well, a big-ass bear, he charges into battles using his pure animal instincts to thrash everything in his path into submission. Tank might look like he's all brawn and no brains, but don't let his looks fool you. The guy's a smartass, because he's capable of teaming up with Iron to take down one of Kargaland's top generals. Well, you know what? That's actually legit in real life too, because bears are really smart. They're on the same level as apes in terms of brain power. Tank totally leveled up by sticking close to Jinwoo, becoming an absolute unit in the army. He's now a Knight grade, which is as beefed as an A-rank hunter. Tank can also crush through demons and knock them down easily. Plus, with just
reminds me of that one
swipe, he instantly killed a
Polish bear in
Those
World War
half-human,
II,
half-serpents
where they
model.
used
So
the
even
bear
if
as
Tank
like
had fought
he was
the
loading
Ant-Queen,
machine
if
guns
she
and stuff,
remained as Jinwoo's shadow,
bombs.
and even if she was toxic, that wouldn't have worked on
That's
this
funny.
bear. You know why? Because he's not just any shadow, bruh. It's in his name. Read it. Since spitting poison was the Ant Queen's main move, if that didn't work, everything else would have been useless against Tank. But if Tank fought Kaizel, that'd actually be a good match. Because even though Tank is massive, reaching a shadow that can fly to the goddamn stratosphere is impossible. Next, Min Byung-gyu. This homie was top tier, S rank with crazy healing powers. I mean, bruh could instantly heal any wounded hunters. Like, he quickly grew back Ma Dong-wook's arms after the Ant King ripped them off. I wish he could have done that, you know, when he lost his head. I know, dark. So, after Jinwoo killed the Ant King, he used Min Byung-gyu's shadow to heal Cha Hae-in, because Ma Bei almost died. Once she was healed, Jinwoo honored Bak's wish, letting Byung-gyu's shadow disappear and his soul rest in peace. Even though we didn't see his rank when Jinwoo extracted his shadow, luckily our boy Byung-gyu gave us some deets about his strength. When he was alive, he said that he was on par with A-rank hunters. But imagine if Byung-gyu had stayed a shadow till Jinwoo had hit Shadow Monarch level. Like, I'm telling you, this guy would have been a monster. So in theory, the first time he became a shadow, he was already at Knight grade. And when Jinwoo awakened as a new Shadow Monarch, it's possible that Min Byung-gyu could have achieved elite Knight grade, a rank that is equal or can even overpower an S-rank hunter, meaning Byung-gyu could grow stronger than his besto friendo, Bak Yeon-hoo. But aside from his combat skills, the most terrifying power he had was his healing magic, because Byung-gyu could instantly heal Bak and Ma Dong-wook back to their prime condition after the Ant Queen spat poison all over them. And he could easily heal Cha Hae-in back to full health from the brink of death. Not only that, but he was able to buff the stats of his fellow hunters. So if he had remained a shadow, Byung-gyu would have been perfect for supporting the shadow army, and especially Jinwoo, because he could heal them and give them a lot of buffs. Like, this guy can both help fight and support his teammates. This is the ideal partner in life, guys. Wow, girls, get you a guy like this one. Plus, Byung-gyu's got invisibility, or Envy for short. That means you won't catch even a glimpse of him, physically or magically, unless you're the Ant King. And if Min Byung-gyu had stayed as a shadow, I bet he could have taken down the Ant Queen solo. Though if he fought Tank, it might have been a showdown. If Tank tried to attack Byung-gyu, Bro could just buff himself up and heal right back. Since Tank is only at Knight grade, Byung-gyu's got a solid shot at winning because, you know, he's theoretically an elite Knight grade. Now, Kaizel versus Byung-gyu, if Kaizel stays grounded, Byung-gyu's got a shot, but if Kaizel takes to the skies, that's a different story, unless Byung-gyu's, you know, not scared of heights. I'm not scared of heights. You're scared of heights, aren't you? Next, the Giants. During the raid on Tokyo, Jinwoo turned them into shadows. And bro, let me tell you, these big boys are tough. Tough enough to fight an S-rank hunter. This actually happened with the Japanese S-rank hunters, because these giants aren't just huge, they're also super fast. Like, what? They're so overpowered, they've basically defied the laws of physics. You know, the bigger you are, the slower you'll move. But, you know, they are from another world. So I guess they said, to hell with
gravity. So that's why that one massive guy in the
previous
episode was just freaking zooming.
It's not just the S-rank hunters who had a problem dealing with these giants. Liu Zhugang, a national level hunter from China, struggled just to take down one of them. And if tackling one giant is a big deal, pun intended, just imagine facing off against 12 or 30 of them. This means that these giants could destroy an entire country. If Jinwoo hadn't stepped in, they could have easily wiped out Japan. So if you try to fight these giants solo style, then yeah, that's a death wish, unless you're Captain Levi. Even on a
unless it's not the same
it'd be a
giants,
tough
I think
fight,
it is.
Even for the likes of Tank or
that red guy.
Sure, they might land some hits, but taking them down? down is a challenge. So the only way to defeat a giant is you gotta outnumber them. But there is one shadow who can take on these giants, and that is Jima. This Naga isn't just any shadow, he's elite knight grade, and thanks to his mana, Jima can beef up in size, and with his raw strength plus his trident, he can easily take down a giant with just one hit. Next,
oh god, just one hit a giant.
Titan. So this guy's name was never dropped in the webtoon, but Jinwoo turned him into a shadow when their race tried to invade Earth. According to the rulers, these titans are a tribe of giants that survive by eating rocks. Damn, these guys like it hard. I mean, it makes sense why they look spiky and rocky. These titans targeted Earth because they detected Jinwoo's power and wanted to mess with Earth. Unfortunately for them, their timing was just a little off. They arrived when Jinwoo was already a god. Now, check out this big guy. You see, he explained that titans decrease their size when they're ready to use their full power. But not all titans can pull this off. Only the best warriors like him. And just as he's spilling the tea, Belian chops off his head. And just like that, we didn't get to see any of his moves.
Wow.
The next time we catch this unnamed Titan, he's up against Jinwoo's son, Sung Soo-ho, and looks like he's about to unleash his full power. Oh, never mind. But considering he's teaming up with Jima
how
and
far
the
ahead
dragons,
is the weapon?
that means
like,
his power level is
how
on
far
par
is the
with
manga?
or slightly stronger than these heavy hitters. This means he's around an elite knight grade, which as you know is tough enough to fight an S-rank hunter. We didn't really get
like
to see him
Jinwoo's son, like
those
that's gonna be so far ahead.
And Suho are just way too OP for him, but I bet this dude could totally fight Jima and those giants. Even though this unnamed Titan seemed like he had planetary level power, I believe Iron is stronger than him. Iron is another shadow Jinwoo extracted during the Red Gate incident. And Iron is a shadow who, to put it simply, is out of pocket. This guy's always going ham in fights and destroying stuff left, right, and center.
Out of pocket.
Like the Hulk, but armed with a hammer and decked out in armor. He's always bragging about his victories and gets super pissed if his special move, the Shout of Provocation, doesn't work on his enemies. By the way, this skill gets enemies all riled up to target him, making them come at him blindly. But it doesn't work on enemies stronger than him, and that's exactly why he gets so frustrated. You know, it reminds me of my sister, my little sister, who's not so little anymore. She's 28. And she's still a pain in the ass. So, even though Jinwoo thinks Iron's a bit of a knucklehead, he keeps him on the team because he always smashes it whenever he fights. After Jinwoo's awakening, Iron's rank was increased from Knight Grade to Elite Knight Grade, which means he can tussle with any S-rank hunters. Plus, he can easily smash a giant's head. So it's possible that even if Jima can grow in size, Iron can still take him on. And even when he was a Knight Grade, the guy was so jacked, he easily dragged the corpse of a high-level demon with just one hand. Next, greed. This shadow was extracted from Hwang Dong-soo, a total douche, who wanted to kill Jinwoo to avenge his big bro, who was also a douche. Hwang Dong-soo ended up dying because he kidnapped and tortured Jinwoo's friend, Jinwoo. After that, he turned him into a shadow. Jinwoo named him Greed because he died being greedy. But what's really interesting about this guy is that he was already at general grade when Jinwoo turned him into a shadow. And general grade shadows are way stronger than S-rank hunters. However, even though Greed is super powerful, we never really got to see what he's fully capable of. The only time we got a glimpse of his power was when he easily broke out of the Frost Monarch's ice prison and just flexed his damn muscles. Still, it's crystal clear that Greed is stronger than Iron, even though Iron got more, screen time. Because Hwang Dong-soo was already S-rank when he got turned into a shadow, while Iron, Kim Chol, was just an A-rank. Next up, we've got Tusk. He was originally a High Orc shaman named Kurgalgan that Jinwoo ran into during a team-up raid with some hunters on an A-rank gate. Once Kurgalgan turned into a shadow, he was already at Elite Knight Grade. And he's so strong that with just one of his fire spells, he can wipe out demons and giants like it's nothing. Plus, he's got gravitation magic. He can levitate his target and then toss them around, slamming them into the ground over and over until every bone in their bodies broken. But that spell is just the most basic one. His strongest spells are part of what I call the Hymn series, because most of these spells start with the word Hymn. By the way, these spells are actually based on the zodiac signs. Did you know that? Cool. First up, the Hymn Protection. Tusk can create a shield around himself or a target, perfect for defense. So even if he's up against strong ops, or even shadows like Greed or Iron, he can easily block their attacks. Tusk's got spells with debuffs too, like the Hymn of Frenzy. This spell weakens the target's defense and cranks up the damage they take from attacks. So even if you're tough like Iron or Tank, this spell still means trouble. Another debuff spell is the Hymn of Agony, which curses his targets with intense pain. Then there's the Hymn of Blindness, which just like it sounds, will literally blind you. And for those hunters out there who are super strong or athletic, Tusk can drain your stamina with the Hymn of Slumber. Next up is the Hymn of Lethargy, which is perfect for handling my friend's cat, because that mofo is just jumping up everywhere. Oh, sorry, back to topic. Hymn of Lethargy is perfect for handling super speedy opponents. With this power, Tusk can literally freeze them in place. Yeah, no, I really need this for that cat. And don't forget about the Hymn of Giants. Tusk can grow in size with his mana, so whether you're a Jima, a Giant, or even a Titan, Tusk can take you on with this spell. He can also use the Hymn of Strengthening, a buff that boosts his or his target's
Well, he can make you smaller.
So if he's up against Greed, Tusk can use this spell to match or even overpower his opponent's strength. But
okay, he grows that size.
He can't fight with the buffs and debuffs alone. He also has offensive spells like Hymn of the Blazing Fire, where Tusk shoots off a wave of fireballs. Yet fireballs are nothing compared to the Hymn of the Fire Dragon. When Tusk uses it, his hood transforms into a dragon's head, blasting out a massive fire beam from his mouth. And with this special item called the Orb of Avarice, the fire beam gets even stronger. It's so powerful, it totally wiped out the Demon King's attack like it was a flame from a lighter that he blew on. By the way, Baron is basically the copied version of the Monarch of White Flames, meaning Tusk was already as strong as a Monarch when he hit Elite Knight grade. After Jinwoo awakened, Tusk instantly leveled up to General grade, and at this grade he flexes powers against the 3 Shadow Dragons. His Hymn of the Fire Dragon, especially with the Orb of Avarice, proved his power is way beyond the 3 dragons combined. When the Titans tried to invade Earth, Tusk easily wiped them out. Also, even though Greed and Tusk are at the same rank, I still believe Tusk is stronger. He's got a lot of advantages because he simply has more tricks up his sleeves. Next, Igris.
The tricky boy.
Recap. He used to serve Ashborn,
I was waiting for this
the original
one.
Shadow Monarch. When Ashborn decided it was time to retire and choose a human successor, he instructed Igris to test Jinwoo to see if he was worthy to become Ashborn's vessel. At first, Igris didn't like Jinwoo, but after Jinwoo kicked his ass and turned him into a shadow, he slowly accepted his new master. By the way, when Jinwoo first fought Igris's true powers were sealed, but even without being at full strength, he almost killed Jinwoo.
Real?
When he finally became a shadow under Jinwoo, Igris was at Night grade, making him as strong as an A-rank hunter. But when Jinwoo stepped up as the new Shadow Monarch, Igris's true rank was revealed, and he was at Martial grade, which means that Igris has been at Martial grade this whole time. That's crazy. Since Igris has been a
that's why
swordsman
he's so OP.
Eons, bro. Like, he's the top DPS swordsman, like damage per second in the Shadow Army. Plus, Igris is kind of like a Jedi because he can move things with his mind. I mean, of course, there's a limit to it. Not only that, he also wields the Demon King's sword. This sword is crazy strong and makes the user's attack go up by like 350 points, making it Jinwoo's second best weapon. Also, it has this cool move called the Storm of White Flames that summons endless lightning storms every time Igris swings the sword. And as a martial grade shadow, he has the power to fight a national level hunter or even stand toe to toe with a monarch. When Jinwoo went away for a few minutes to hunt Bracken, the Monarch of Fangs, Igris was so overpowered that he legit held off the Frost Monarch solo. Now what you know about that leveling? Think about it, he fought the Monarch of Frost by himself. So if Igris were to fight Tusk, this orc's magic spells wouldn't work on Igris. I mean, bruh, the Frost Monarch was terrified of Igris. What could a general grade shadow do against him? But since monarchs are basically gods and Igris can fight one of them, that means Igris by default is already a god tier level guy. Like, that's a guy right there. But
his design looks so cool
though. Who can rival Igris, then that is Beru. When he was still the Ant King, he destroyed multiple S-rank hunters and instantly killed them, including the strongest S-rank hunter in Japan, Goto Ryuji. When Beru became a shadow, he was already at general grade, and at this grade he was already very strong because he single-handedly slaughtered what was left of the ant colony in Jeju Island. He could also solo a dungeon, and with his brute strength he nearly killed Chahain while training because he lost control. Thank the gods, Jinwoo interfered because I almost lost my waifu. I mean, Jinwoo almost lost his waifu. After reaching the martial grade, and during the fight with the monarchs, Beru's sheer strength let him escape from the Frost Monarch's ice prison. So, even if Tusk could use the Hymn of Protection, there's a chance that Beru could destroy that. Or even if you were as tanky as Iron, that wasn't gonna work on Beru. Beru also fought not one, but 2 goddamn monarchs. The first one was Kureisha, the Queen of Insects, and Beru effortlessly chopped off her fingers. The second was Tarnak, the Monarch of Steel. And with Belion's help, they easily took down this tough opponent. Beru can also act as a tank because of his super tough outer shell. Like, he could handle Jinwoo's hits during their training sessions. Apart from Beru's strength and durable exoskeleton, his speed is what truly stands out. This guy is lightning because he can fly from Jeju Island to Busan in just minutes. Yeah, that's like 301 kilometers per hour. And he effortlessly dodged Chai-in's attacks without even moving his feet. Beru also has a way to further increase his speed or strength. Since he has the power to manipulate his body size, he can grow bigger to boost his strength, though it'll slightly slow him down. And alternatively, he can speed up by shrinking down his size. Beru also has another overpowered skill called gluttony, letting him absorb the skills and knowledge from anyone he eats. Just like Min Byung-gyu, for example. That's probably why Beru can heal. But bruh, I've been thinking, can Beru overpower Igris with his speed? I mean, they're both martial. And I know Igris is fast, but Beru is faster. I know that Jinwoo mentioned that Beru was stronger than Igris, but that was way before Jinwoo's awakening. So, I gotta be honest, my guys, I'm not really sure. And if you're trying to run away from this bad boy, there's a slim chance you might escape because Beru's not just fast. The guy can also whip out paralysis poison. Beru can launch super toxic poison using his sword-like tongue. This poison's got some serious kick to it, or serious magic to it, that can take out enemies in just a few seconds. Well, you can survive this if you have a debuff immunity like Jinwoo. Guys, do you think Igris or Beru can take on Kamish the dragon, aka the inextinguishable flame?
I can't wait to see
this
these
dragon
like
isn't just
animated.
any ordinary fire-breathing lizard. Kamish was originally a servant of Antaras, the king of dragons and the monarch of destruction. Let me tell you, Kamish was like the biggest disaster that was ever experienced in human history. Everyone who got a taste of his wrath was so traumatized that they just wanted to forget the horror they experienced that day. So during the first war with the rulers, the enemy captured him and implanted an essence stone inside his body. When he arrived on Earth, he was the first boss to appear at an S-rank gate. Kamish went totally wild on the American West Coast and single-handedly wiped out hundreds of top-ranking hunters. The chaos didn't stop until the last 5 S-rank hunters, including Thomas Andre, teamed up and finally managed to kill him. We saw just how strong Kamish was when Jinwoo turned him into a shadow. He easily smashed through that magic glass that everyone thought was super tough and unbreakable. Sadly, we never got a chance to see his rank, but since he killed hundreds of top-ranking hunters, he could possibly be at martial grade. I mean, if Kamish stayed as Jinwoo's shadow, he could have faced off against Igris or Beru, maybe even beating both, unless Igris and Beru ganged up on him. And since he's a dragon, his skills are tough, even tougher than Beru's exoskeleton, because, well, of the small difference that Beru is an ant and Kamish is a mythical beast. Plus, since they call him the inextinguishable flame, which pretty much means his fire breath is like super hard to put out, then that also means that Kamish's firepower is way stronger than Tusk's. Aside from his spicy breath, another terrifying power of Kamish is the dragon's fearsome roar. A super loud roar so terrifying it would drive those weaker than him nuts. So powerful, you wouldn't be able to move an inch. Jinwoo actually got this skill from Kamish's rune. Plus he's got this ultimate dagger, Kamish's Wrath, made from Kamish's fangs. Thomas Andre gave it to Jinwoo. Thomas said he kept those fangs as a souvenir after Kamish bit him, and then crafted them into a pair of wicked daggers.
That's a sick
These
freaking
daggers
weapon,
boast
though.
1500 attack damage, and their
Damn.
sharpness is unmatched. They're so sharp that when Jinwoo tested them out, Thomas worried they could slice through him easily, even with his defenses fully strengthened. Which means Kamish's fangs could bite through a national level hunter's armor like it's nothing. So even if Beru's got tough armor, Kamish could chew through it like it's candy. I just realized, if Kamish's shadow hadn't failed to be extracted, and Jinwoo had the rune, the dagger, and the shadow of the dragon itself, Jinwoo could have had the full set, bro. Next, Belial.
True.
He was Ashbourne's right-hand man, and the strongest shadow in the Shadow Army, holding the highest rank, the Grand Marshal. This means Belion's strength is only second to Jinwoo. With that insane power level, he can easily kill a monarch. Like this one time when he and Beru went up against Tarnak, the Monarch of Steel and the King of Monsters. They handled this guy without even breaking a sweat. I mean, they're shadows, so they don't really sweat, but when Jinwoo defeated the 3 monarchs, Rakan, Kuratia, and the Frost Monarch, who tried to kill him, Belion arrived on Earth with Ashbourne's OG Shadow Army. After that, we got the first glimpse of his power during his fight with Beru. Our boy Beru wanted to fight Belion for the title of Grand Marshal. So as these 2 shadows faced off, Jinwoo thought that Belion was more of a strength build shadow because this dude is massive and wields a huge ass sword. Now Jinwoo assumed Beru had a shot at winning since, Beru's speed could give him an edge over Belion's strength, but Jinwoo underestimated Belion. When Beru charged at Belian, dude transformed his massive sword into a whip. So even though Beru was super fast, Belian just easily stopped him. Not only that, a single strike from Belian is so powerful, it made the ground crumble. So if Beru with his immense speed was useless against Belian, then it's possible that even if Igris were to fight Belian, there would be a chance that he could stop Igris's movements as well. Despite his gigantic physique, Belian was super fast, especially when he instantly killed the nameless Titan I mentioned earlier. Belian was so quick that the Titan didn't even see him coming. Wait, Belian was riding a dragon, so let me rephrase that. The Titan didn't actually see Belian because he swung his sword so fast. Wait, quick thought. If Belian can fly, then why the heck was he on a dragon? But yeah, he really can fly, which is
just because he wanted to.
Sure, Beru can fly, but if we're talking aerial combat, I
points.
still don't think Beru stands a chance. I mean, Belian already whooped Beru's ass on the ground. What difference does it make in the air? The third time Belian showed off his speed was when he fought Jinwoo's son, Suho. When he faced the little king, bro just instantly vanished and attacked Suho from behind, easily wounding him. And this time, Belian wasn't holding back, because his whip sword destroyed the entire battlefield. Not only that, Belian also blocked Suho's attack. Even with Suho's strong punches, Belian managed to hold his ground, meaning Belian isn't just fast and strong, he's also tough as hell. In fact, Belian is so tough that he would eat anything you threw at him like it's Pringles on a Sunday morning. Despite his strength, Suho finally saw Belian's weakness, and that's when the little king grabbed Belian's sword and managed to stop it. So maybe Beru and Igris could stand a chance if they, teamed up and grabbed and hugged his sword. Now, if Belian survived a punch from the son of the strongest monarch and the potential future strongest monarch, what could a dragon, an insect, and knight possibly do against him? But even though Belian is overpowered, there's no chance he would win against his own master, who's basically one of the strongest gods in solo leveling.
He's a god, basically, right? So, that's a good video.